to what British people have done, setting a standard. We all know, I'm not going to mention them, we all know when other countries, they came to this American continent, what kind of a standard they set. We know it all in Mexico and other South America. Not good. People are not happy about it. But not where the English went. They created a different standard. Social justice, you see, they brought in. The human right, they defined democracy. The English democracy is different from anywhere else because it has a unique criteria. It has a coordinate to this democracy that's different from everywhere else. In the English democracy, there's always not just a mere election, but the election of two opposite forces. That is in the fabric of the universe, and it has to be everywhere, and they introduced that. Right there you can see the Tories and Labours in England, and the Democrat and Republican right here in the United States, and Conservative and Liberals in Canada or in Australia. These two forces, the two opposite forces, it creates a democracy. It is hard to create democracy if the people, all the people in the country, they're all Irish or English. They knew that. There had to be people in between them, like a shock absorber, or else democracy cannot be achieved. They could have got rid of the Quebec in Canada, say, okay, Quebec, you could go your own way, you're French and you become a country of your own, we're going to keep the rest of the Canada to ourselves. They said no. This was the order of the Europe and old country. Here we're going to get along. You see, this is how Canada was made. Shaking the hand of the French people. Yes, they did. English people did it in Canada. That's the miracle over time. That's the secret of the success. And it happened. So the entire world owes to these people, to you. But are you recognizing yourself? Nowadays, I don't see it. I don't see it. This is why I'm talking to you. Trying to see if I can find some kind of a opinion, some kind of a idea that might give you that you might be receiving from an outsider, as you have always done that. You look at everywhere to see who's telling the truth, and you had a good sense of a smell for it. So let me continue to come down here. Now, the problem is, as England started to progress herself out of the old ways, economically, sociologically, then further and further it got away from the spirituality of the past. You see, these things coming in all in one package. Man has economical needs because he has a body, he has to eat, for which he has to go to work then has to do business. And the planet, as we know, physically has to be formulated to fulfill the need of the man. These are the economical needs. But man also is a social being and has social needs because he falls in love, he marries, and he has children, his mother, father. And they have to be seeing each other and talking to each other. Some kind of a communication man needs, essentially speaking. He's a sociable being. Those are fine. You could take care of that. But as you changed the system of the past from the Europe, you recognized yourself very well that your religion from Christianity as it was known had to be changed, and it worked for you. But now the entire Christianity is useless to what you have brought. It doesn't work. As a Christian or as a Muslim, it's very hard to get along in one society, isn't it? So what do? Man has economical needs, social needs, and spiritual needs. They're all in one man. You can't pull my hand and hoping that the rest of me will not come with me. If you change my house from Zulu land to this house, and you change the Ayatollah for me to Prime Minister, well, then the fabric of society that I was living in is changed. Then I cannot go practice my Islamic religion here. It just doesn't fit with the rest of the people. I would be singled out. I would suffer then. I have to live under suffering because I'm distinguished like Amish people. I can't work. Can we ignore the spiritual need? We don't need it. I can't, because we do have a spiritual need. You see, without the spiritual need, it's impossible. We cannot live. We need to have that trust between husband and wife that they're faithful together. We need that between our friends, between our children. What can constitute those kind of rules? Can lawyer do it? Can artists do it? Philosophers, scientists? Nobody's going to listen. It has to be something different, a different source. We know him as Moses, as Jesus, as Buddha, as Krishna, as Muhammad. They were the rulers of the family. So in the family, a human being was born into the womb of the mother. Gradually develops hands, legs, eyes, ears. All of it is useless in the womb. As he grows bigger, his world becomes smaller. He has to pop out. But when it comes out and it grows up, says, oh my God, I needed this hand and eyes and ear and that. So that's the physical part. Now we need to have this man to grow in a social womb. That's family. A mother and a father that keep these kids together. But the new world that we made it, the new social order, the new democracy, and all of that is not compatible to Christianity. Christianity was not around when there was democracy. When people go on the airplane, it was not around. There's an old order. What do we do now? Can we live without it? It's not possible. Because I've seen it in Canada every day, really, that something very strange happened in Canada. People in England, Catholic marries Catholic and Protestant marries Protestants and whatnot. Here they come in Canada, they open up because it's a new society. It's a new setup. Now English says, okay, you know, Catholic, Christians, whatever, Presbyterians, all the same, they marry. They marry, but the prime directive and protocol of the family is changed. Children, they don't know, gotta go to mom's church or dad's church. If between a conflict happens, there's a problem. So they said, you know what, let's get rid of it. Religion is no good. Okay, I wish it could come true, but it's not. Because it's an essential part of our system, of our being. We need the spiritual need. So then Hollywood kicks in. Priests all they get a bit bad. They do a lot of immoral things. They lost their authority and ethical values. Hollywood comes in, you know, your surrogate mother, and it comes in and brings for you Superman and Batman and Spider-Man for Jesus Christ. But there's no meaning in what they say, there's no value, there's no moral to their stories. So, children, they grow, mom and dad, they lose their connection and communications. Creation of democracy is totally, it's like an acid on the family, it kills it. One man and one woman, they cannot vote what to do. Because family is not a social institution, as essentially as a spiritual institution. Because what rules there is love and harmony and obedience and trust. Those are not to work in any office. You have other things going on. This institution is different. So there's a missing link. as Darwin puts it. We're going to have to find out. What do we do to complete this triangle? There's economy and social justice and all that is done. But the third part of the dimension, which is religion, which is spirituality, is not around. Just around the time when English people were going around the world and trying to rebuild the world, and they were all by then scattered in Canada and US and Australia, something happened in Iran. It's called Baha'i faith. Okay. I look at my notes so I do not miss anything. So since we need the spiritual, we understand we need a spiritual womb, 15 years at least, maybe 20 years, for the children to be in. Either we have to make one, or we have to see if somewhere in the world something has happened. Yes, something happened in Iran called Baha'i faith, and right around 1844. Just as you people in England are trying to set a social justice and social system in the world, and create democracy in the US and Canada and all the places, Baha'ullah, which means glory of God, appeared in Iran. And he was, again, the secret is in the combination. He was the combinations of the Arab's mother, and the father was the ancient Aryan. Genealogy of Baha'u'llah reached to the Zoroastrians. Ancient Aryans. Baha'u'llah is the manifestation of God and the fulfillment of all what in the Bible is, for those who are interested in the prophecies and whatnot, which is rather ambiguous to me. I rather look at the practical need of what is the practical evolution that we have found of solving the solution. But if you're interested in that, magnificent William Sears have written a book called Thief in the Night, which explains all these prophecies about Jesus Christ, that Baha'u'llah is the return of Jesus Christ. Baha'u'llah set a strange spiritual revolution in Iran, none like it in the past, that got me interested. For example, this is the revelation of God, he said the problem with the religion is that it's not democratic. Self-proclaimed people, they come in, they call themselves Ayatollah or Pope or Kakam or I don't know, this or that or that. Mankind is gripped by these people because they don't get along, and they fight and they take the flock of people behind themselves and causing more problem. Baha'u'llah says no, democracy has to be everywhere, in the religion as well. So the Baha'is in any city in England, they don't have a priest. They elect 9 people that become the local spiritual assembly of that city. There's locals everywhere that have delegates. They elect another one, the National Spiritual Assembly of UK or Canada or United States or any planet. And at a world level, they also create another 9 members that they become the Universal House of Justice, which acts like a pope. But in all of this process, Baha'i, they don't vote for a person. They vote for a system of 9. Combination of 9 is their vote, not just one particular person. That was very amazing to me at the age of 18, 19 when I heard about this. That has happened in Iran. Where would Baha'u'llah learn these things? Nowhere this idea was before him. It's totally unique and new. And then Baha'u'llah, the other thing that Muslims didn't like it at all, he said that the man and women, they have an equal opportunity. He said mankind is like a bird. It's a wing left and right. If the birds, one of them is closed, it can't walk. He brought many things, such as he says, education has to be compulsory. Children are bound to go to school. It never was in Iran. I don't think even at 1844 would have been even in England. But he made it universal law, and right now it's everywhere. His faith and his religion, if you like to call it, we call it faith, is totally based on the need of the mankind. Is an evolution of what we are. Canada or the United States or even England, they haven't heard about it as much, but they themselves have discovered certain principles of Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah says, all the religions of the world They're all one and the same. They're all same foundations. God is like a actor. He's playing different personas. Some days acting as Moses and as Jesus, as Muhammad, and as Buddha, as Krishna. We don't know who the real actor is. Only we see his manifestation in the form of a human being. He used a human being to talk to us, like a sun in the mirror. So we could call Jesus God because his picture is there. Or like a King of England, Queen of England, right on the TV or on the computer. Queen is never coming to the computer, but you can see her. When she talks, it is her. Is it? Not really. But it is. The same way he says the prophets of God are. Therefore, we should not fight with each other. He said all these religions are continental. Buddha went for China. Krishna stayed in India. Muhammad went for the Middle East. Jesus comes to Europe. They're all continental. Now the time has come that all of this have to come together in a form of unity, unified. Under the magnificent laws of Baha'ullah, it's called unity in diversity. Baha'i faith and Baha'ullah does not believe that we have to change and convert people to ourselves. According to his teaching, humanity is like a jigsaw puzzle. When the pieces are put together, it becomes human being. So what is the point that one of these pieces of jigsaw puzzle wanting to change, the other one to become like him? Then one piece is missing. Mankind is not competing with each other, Baha'u'llah says. You can't compete with me. You are not me. My face is different. I have my own chair in front of God. You have your own. You have to compete with your past. That you are not as good as last year and you want to be better and you set a goal for your future. You can surely hear from me who I am and what I am and might give you an idea so you can go and compete with yourself. Make yourself better. But no conversions. We're all needed to be in this planet. And all of us have to understand and realize our full realization of ourselves. How good we are. Lack of religion has caused a lot of problem for the English people because they are right on the tip of the material progress. They are further away from any other nation from the religions of the past. What would you do in a country of Canada? If there's no religion, all of them are going to be dysfunctionals. How many of these English people are on welfare? They're all dysfunctionals. Their ideal is not there. No more material and sociological power is good enough for them. They need answers, who they are, what they are. And this power to connect and communicate with the other person, to activate this spiritual program in them. There's so many views, they're all conflicting with each other. This is where Baha'i faith comes. When I looked at the movies or reading books of the past, I see the English people are always jolly, happy, exuberant, so polite, energized. You look at them today, they're all stressed out, angry. Many of them, they react in a form of racism. Call them redneck around here. This is the fate of the English people? How? This doesn't sound like the race that would go around the world and shake hands with all the people and communicate with them and learn from them and teach them and change the world and be the leader. The link is missing. So you have to understand what I said before. Christianity after Crusaders came to create this physical world, which is the reconstruction of the nature. This house is a reconstruction of the nature. Everything comes from the nature. So is that TV. It's all in the nature. English people, Anglo-Saxon race was responsible for this. They did a very good job out of it. Okay? Now we have to know how to manage this. Now we have to reconstruct the religion of the past as God has made it turn into the Baha'i faith. That's our spiritual home. I've said that in my previous talks to the Americans as well. You have destiny. as an English people, that you have to do this or the world will collapse. You have done the job already as far as creating a new standard in the planet. Barrage of scientists. Everything you have done. This spiritual part is contributed by the Muslims, from where it becomes a sediment, let's say a lagoon from which the flower, the new tree came out. It's called Baha'i faith. To study that. It's all over in England. If you say Baha'i faith, B-A-H-A apostrophe I faith, I put it into Google and you'll see every city in England, there are Baha'is in them. But you have to understand this historical mission that you have, this you being the contractor of God to make these things. Now is the time that to receive the Baha'i faith. Baha'i faith is very amazing. Actually, England and English people, they came in contact with the Baha'i faith. I was somewhere during the Ottoman War, I believe, that English soldiers were out of food, they were starving. And Abdullah at that time, they were prisoners of the Ottoman Empire, but had so much wheat, he stored it for the bad days. And he fed all the armies, English army at that time, and they entitled him as Sir because of the service he did, you know. But Abdullah didn't do to the English people against another people, not really. Anybody who would be hungry to come to him, if he had, he would give anyways. So at that time, as the manner of the English people was, they were curious. One of those curious people, his name is Edward G. Brown. He's an Orientalist. Amazingly, he goes in Iran and studied the Baha'i faith and Baha'i faith. But historically, he had some serious account about seeing and visiting Baha'ullah because he wanted to see who this Baha'ullah was. It might be good for you to know this, because he was one of you, isn't it? And his book, it's just from the Google, I printed it. This is his account of visiting Baha'ullah. He says, my conductor paused for a moment while I removed my shoes. Then with a quick movement of the hand, he withdrew, and as I passed, replaced the curtain, and I found myself in a large apartment along the upper end of which ran a low divan. While on the side opposite to the door were placed 2 or 3 chairs, though I dimly suspected whither I was going and whom I was to behold. Within bracket he says, for no distinct intimations had been given to me, bracket closed, continues. A second or two elapsed ere, with a throb of wonder and awe, I became definitely conscious that the room was not untenanted. And the corner where the divan met the wall sat a wondrous and venerable figure, crowned with a felt head dress of the kind called Taj by dervishes, within bracket, but of the unusual height and make, bracket close, round the base of which was wound a small white turban